Hello,
Hey,
hello. All right. I think we are definitely live now. Okay. Hello, everybody. We are live, and we are going to do a spoiler review of Godzilla versus King Kong, or Kong, or whichever it's called. I think I got the wrong logo, but I don't give a damn. And I'm joined by Dragon Spooker and Bob the Nurgling.
hello.
Hello.
All right. This was quite a journey for me because I am not the biggest fan of these giant monster franchises. I'm not, well, I'm more of a casual. So I had to spend the last night watching. First, I had to watch Godzilla King of the Monsters. Then I had to watch uh, Kong Skull Island. Then just to get to Godzilla versus King Kong. And oh boy, it was a bumpy ride to say the least.
I've seen them all. I am the hardcore Godzilla fan here. Like if I would have the ringtone of the old Godzilla song on there. I've seen every Godzilla movie that's ever come out. I've seen the crappy anime. I've seen God, man, how what else have I literally read the comics at this point where Godzilla wander around the Marvel universe.
Mm.
So yeah, to say I'm a hardcore fan is an understatement. The only thing I haven't done is because I don't wanna buy the toys because Toho is a little bit of a dink when it comes to pricing their shit. Let's just put it that way.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, like $80 for a Godzilla, a classic Godzilla. I'm like, yeah, I'm not spending $80 for a classic Godzilla, thank you, but no. What about you, Bob? How big of a Godzilla fan are you?
To be honest, I am not too much of a fan either monsters. I didn't even keep up with the knowledge, so I'm pretty much going into this completely fresh.
Okay, so we do have a true nerdling here, a fresh beast for the fray.
Yes, apparently.
So before we get to all the fun spoilers, let's kind of give it a little just so people have something to actually have a little thing for us. What did you think of the series as a whole? Now that you've watched well, I guess this was the Legendary Collection.
Yeah, I think that's what they are, or at least Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing: the Godzilla movies I feel were a little bit underwhelming, um, because I have a huge problem with the direction that was taken. There are two things. The cinematography is what bothered me with Godzilla. I'm so sick of shaky camera, the constant falling debris, the excessive weather, fog, rain. They I feel like the director of the first two Godzilla movies will just do about anything he could just to cover them up. And I think that asshole, just whoever he is a piece of shit director for that. So I think my enjoyment was kind of taken aback because of that. And also, I know what they were trying to do, but it worked only the first time. It's not going to work any other time because Godzilla is a pop cultural thing. But I'm sick of how they kept trying to keep Godzilla like off screen for the majority of the movies. Like you don't see him. You only get glimpses of him every here and there, but he's just absent for the majority of it. And I came into them to see Godzilla. Now, Kong Skull Island, on the other hand, was a lot more enjoyable because you get to see King Kong. You get to see him do stuff. He is the focus of more of the focus of the movie. The humans don't get in the way. They're just there to provide exposition and move the story forward, and I liked that. So I think in terms of which movie was did it better, I Kong easily wins hands down, and I was able to enjoy Godzilla versus Kong because they took that aspect of the Kong movies and brought it there. Now, even though Godzilla wasn't as prominent in this movie as I would have liked him to be, he was still there. And I liked the fight scenes that you could see what's going on, you could understand it, it wasn't confusing or obscured by some atmospheric bullshit. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. A little wordy,
Well,
but
what would you give it as a whole? Because we are putting this on my YouTube after this. What would you give it as a whole for a series? Like, what was your what would you rate the Godzillas? The Godzillas. Like, let's do a rating for each one. So the first Godzilla, what are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it a 6.5 or something.
Okay. What about God's King Kong Skull Island?
I'm gonna give that an 8. Maybe that's being generous a
Okay.
bit, but I'm gonna give it an 8. I'd rather be too generous than unfair.
Okay. King of the Monsters. What are you gonna give that?
I'm gonna give it around a 5-ish.
Okay. Last one. Godzilla versus King Kong.
That's also getting an 8. I think I enjoyed it, but I gotta keep in mind, as of this recording, the movies are still fresh in my mind. So, but I did enjoy Kong and Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, but that's the best way to come with these movies. You know, when we do our reviews, I like to get them as fresh as humanly possible, so that people can, you're getting an honest review. You're not getting any guff scuff or any of the other stuff. As for me, I would say the first Godzilla, I absolutely I absolutely enjoyed it to a point. I agree with you on that one. I would say it was a 6. It was close to a 6 because Bryan Cranston was actually quite fun, and the human characters were a little fun. Skull Island was about a 6.5.
Okay.
And King of the Monsters, as much as I'm so upset because they brought a lot of my favorite monsters, and I think it would have been more fun if we had more Titans,
Yeah.
I would say about a 5. I agree with you. It was kind of garbage because of this. You couldn't see shit. The last one, on the other hand, that one is. I have a love hate with this one, so I'm going to give that one a 6.5. Nothing surpasses a 7 on me. For me, really, nothing gets past the 7 for me on this one. And I'll explain why when we get to the spoiler territory. It's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, there are some flaws with it. I mean,
Yeah.
I have my own personal gripes with it. I mean, but my standards might be a little bit different from yours.
Yeah. Well, being someone who's a legacy guy, being someone who's seen all this stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, I've when it comes to Godzilla, you're talking to the guy that like saw all the Godzillas. So it's hard for me to come at something and be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna see it from that perspective. I'm gonna have a very, very different way of looking at this than most people would. So Bob, you didn't see this at all, so you're kind of just like, did you see any of the Godzilla movies, or you were busy at the time?
For
Bob?
me, uh, I've seen a few, but it was only like little bits here and there because I was like passing by when I was a little kid. Because I'll be honest, I was all about the game console when I was younger.
Okay.
So I would only see little bits and pieces, and other than that, I couldn't really sit and enjoy the movie. I enjoyed movies more like my dad with like Saving Private Ryan and other war films.
Okay, so did you see the Legacy movies at all?
I can't say I
No,
have. The only part I remember of an old Legacy movie was when I think it
no,
was a
no, no, not the
Japanese one.
Legacy as in actual Legacy, but the actual films because they're from the company Legacy, the most recent brand new ones.
Oh no, no.
No,
I thought
okay.
you were talking like old Legacy because I remember the one where they used little RC tanks with like these
Oh,
little
oh
smoke
yeah,
launchers.
yeah, I remember that.
It's so cheesy. But I like it. I like practical effects like that.
Yeah, that's what made those movies good, I think, too. Now, as for Godzilla versus Kong, okay, so who wants to hit the spoilers? Spoiler warning, boys and girls. If no one wants to see this or hear about this, we're giving you a warning now.
Oh yeah.
What? Oh yeah, because the truth is that this movie needs to be not only discussed, but it also needs to kind of have a little bit of fun with it because it's that interesting of a movie.
Yeah.
In other words, you could put it as the nerd's point of view.
Oh yeah, this is a nerd's point of view. This is actually, and this is the best thing about it. It's coming from three perspectives. It's coming from like a fresh noob that gets to hear us talk about it. It's coming from a super fan, and it's coming from someone who's just watched the movies, and this is kind of the first time he's ever really not a big Godzilla fan at all.
Well, let's just say I like Godzilla to be a certain way. I mean, I've seen bits of. I don't like it when it goes campy. I'll just put it that way. I like it when it's serious, which a lot of people might find blasphemous. But what are you gonna do?
Well, okay, Godzilla was always yes and no. There were times when Godzilla was campy, and there was times when Godzilla wasn't campy. So you kind of had those moments where it was, and there was moments where there wasn't. I don't want to say too much because those out there who might actually want to watch the movie later may want to actually figure out about all these other movies because there's a lot of information if you do the research.
A happy moment.
Yeah, there's so much stuff we could actually talk about when it comes to Godzilla, when it comes to that, because there are so many movies that you can just wow, they've literally been doing Godzilla movies for almost what 50 years now, I guess you can technically, yeah, it's almost 50 years if you think about it.
Way more, dude. The first movie was in 1954. So like we're approaching.
Yeah, I guess even longer than that.
So like what are we approaching? We're closer. I think we're closer to 70 years.
Wow. Wow, I didn't think Godzilla's been around that long. I know the toys are getting super expensive now, so I'm just gotten to a point where I'm like, which annoys the hell out of me because I don't think the toys should be pricey. Like, come on, Godzilla toys should be like $40 tops.
Well, it's like we discussed in our rant on Sony and how they've been lately. I mean, people today like to get pushed around by video game companies, and apparently people like to get pushed around by toy companies, and apparently geek culture likes to get pushed around. They'll pay so much
Quite a lot
for things.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend the money. That's how I always look at it.
I'd rather get
oh my lord!
I'd rather get a cheap knockoff that looks good than the real thing, because it's just going to be for display anyway.
Yeah, which is kind of
amusing. You have the word collectible on it, and all of a sudden it's like $100 increase, maybe $200. What do you say?
Yeah.
Why do you think people?
I'm just thinking of the nerd from Simpsons, that dude.
Oh yeah, I remember that Star Wars parody they did, and he was the fan. Worst Cosmic Wars ever. I'll only watch it 3 more times today. Pretty much, that's them, They hate things, and yet they pay for it, and they indulge in it.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
I don't get it personally. It just annoys. Yeah, it gets annoying on my end. Like, I'm willing to spend some money, but like when it comes up to like it's gotten bad now. I used to remember when you could get stuff for cheaper, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, these price tags are just skyrocketing, getting larger and larger and larger. And I'm just like, no, just no.
Movie ticket prices have gone up over the years. I mean, I don't think we'll be going to back to the movies anytime soon. A little someone needs to understand that. Top Gun 2, Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm. No, like I didn't go to the movie theater for this Godzilla, and I'm a little ashamed I spent $25. Like I feel the cheap ass in me just tighten every time I say, God, I spent $25 on that stupid movie. Hey, kind of funny. So let's break down the spoilers. Do you want me to start, or do you want do you want to start?
How about you begin?
Okay. I'm a little surprised, and I absolutely like the idea of King Kong learning sign language.
Oh yeah,
That was fascinating as fuck. If you think about it, that basically means that our boy Kong has been legit. Like, oh yeah, I actually know what you guys are selling. You know, I didn't think that was kind of a cool idea, and I didn't think they would do that. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah.
But no, they actually had a sign. They had him as a sign language. That's a neat idea.
If before anyone starts going, oh, that's not possible, I'd argue, well, in real life there is an actual, there's an actual, was it a gorilla that learned sign language?
Oh,
Coco.
there are gorillas that learn language. Yeah, they're apparently like it's debatable, but there are apparently a couple.
Right, Coco.
So
That chimp's all right. High five. 1,000 points
yeah,
whoever gets the
there
reference.
are yeah, I do actually, but no, it is kind of funny. I do agree with that, and I think that's a cool idea to have. I thought that was kind of a fun idea to have like the actual, hey, he's learning and he's actually smart. That's the thing. Like they talk about how these monsters are stupid and in a lot of the movies they talk about how they're And the other thing that pissed me off, another big thing, is the characters in this one were okay. Expect greatness in Godzilla characters, you really don't. But I don't expect the crap that we're dealing with in this movie for like characters. They're so stereotypical. Oh my god, were they ever? Holy shit, were these stereotypical characters? Like
Yeah,
the main lead.
I agree.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, there are a
Yeah.
couple of characters I think the movie could have done without, but I'll leave that for my part.
hmm There's an entire group of characters that wasn't needed. As for the love story of the main character, like the love story of some of the main characters, I was not a fan of the love story of the main character. Some of the main characters, it
Wait, there was a love
it
story?
just yeah, there was a love story between the Kong Whisperer and that other guy.
Oh, I didn't really notice
Yeah.
a thing between them.
No, they had a thing. They had a fling because at the end of the movie, they had a like they're hanging out with Godzilla and Hollow Earth.
Yeah, but they weren't like holding hands or embracing or anything, did they?
No, but they had that vibe. If you get what I'm cooking,
Um,
I got that vibe out there. Yeah, I got that vibe.
I might have blinked or turned my head away, but the vibe I got was purely platonic.
Yeah, and the what's that character? What's that name of that? The girl from the '80s show. Can't remember her name now. Jeez, what was it called? What's the name of that show? Life is Strange or what? No, it's not Life is Strange. It's on Netflix.
I don't.
She's the bald chick.
I don't know, to be honest.
I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the show right now. It's not coming to me. It's 124 when we're doing this, by the way. So
Are you thinking of Stranger Things?
Oh, we seem to have lost Dragon Spooker. Well, okay, we'll give him a second to get back, so I'll just start. I'll start with my part. So I think the movie. I think it could have been a little bit shorter because my main problem with, well, there are two. Well, the biggest problem I have were some of the side characters, and particularly the girl and the boy and the podcaster, I just felt like, the movie really could have done without them because they didn't really do much. They were just exploring. That's all they did throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And that's how
Yeah, exploring.
that's all they did.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, did they really need that ending scene where he used the guy's scotch flask to short circuit the system that controlled Mecha Godzilla? Yes, Mecha Godzilla is in this movie. Which is another cool part.
I'll get to that Mechagodzilla. Yeah. I'll get to that Mechagodzilla because that's what that's actually the big pet peeve I have is Mechagodzilla.
So yeah, it's like, oh well, it didn't really do much because it was still operating. So why didn't they just have it so that King Kong and Godzilla working together is what killed it? Why did they need to weaken it a little bit? It's just
okay. That's the biggest fu to this whole thing is Mechagodzilla. Actually, I hate. This is what I think that was bugged me the most is the fact that Mechagodzilla was in this movie. I feel that Mechagodzilla is. I thought it was a bad idea. I would have liked it to be some other big bad because there are quite a few interesting big bads that are genetically altered. I would have rather have it be one of those genetically altered big bads and then have the fun of this genetically altered bad guy running around like a crazy person and having him do his thing like this genetically altered monster that shows up. There's Gigar, I think his name is. I can't remember his name now. He's the one with the giant scythes and he's a weird monstrosity with a saw for a belly.
Well, I think from one angle to look at this from is that this is technically the third movie of the Godzilla series and the second for King Kong. So you've got you had Mothra in the first movie, you had Rodan, and what was the other one? The three-headed one. What's it called?
King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah in the second movie. So it's like some could argue that Mechagodzilla. It was his time to shine in this one.
Okay, the other thing I didn't like about that, and the whole Mechagodzilla, but first I want to go to the Life is Strange, I think it is. Or no, Stranger Things, that's what the name of it was. Stranger Things. That actress, when she was driving, did you notice the 80s music? That they play that synthesized music as she's going down the highway.
Yeah, I thought it was just the director's personal taste putting into the movie.
No, that's literally when I saw that, I went, oh my god, really?
Well, it was a lot better than what the movie ended with. I mean, what that song at the end? What the hell was that? Who's the idiot that picked that?
I have no idea. I will say this: the film was right. One did fall. Biggest thing we're going to talk about: Kong got owned in this entire movie. He got his ass kicked.
Like how many rounds did they go? 3 rounds?
They went 3 rounds, and I think he won 1 out of 3.
Okay. He won 1 out of 3.
I think, because technically Kong, Godzilla, there was one cool scene where they were both screaming at each other, and Kong had his, Godzilla had his, thing on him, and he's screaming at him. And yeah, no, he won. Godzilla's basically no, motherfucker, you stay the fuck down. When he realized that King Kong was in the hidden world, he was like, no, asshole, come on up, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of there, this monster's too tough. I think this Godzilla is actually stronger than, the actual OG Godzilla. Because I've never seen Godzilla burrow into the fucking earth with a super breath weapon.
Well, I will say this though. I think maybe it doesn't prove that Godzilla is much stronger because you got to keep in mind the first fight, Godzilla had the advantage of it being in the ocean. I mean, King Kong can't move as freely out there as he would have liked.
That was actually cool. Although, okay, Bob, I got to ask you a question. You were on a ship once a long time ago. In a galaxy far, far away?
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. If a monster the size of a skyscraper jumped onto an aircraft carrier. What do you think would happen to said aircraft carrier?
Oh, aircraft carriers are fragile enough. Like, if you're gonna
So,
put something, it's not meant to hold another ship, and that's essentially what this giant monster is going to be.
try 2 or 3 ships, actually, technically.
Oh, it depends on what ship we're talking here. Are we talking destroyers, or are we talking another aircraft carrier?
We're talking an aircraft carrier. We're talking like 2 or 3 aircraft carriers, because those are the biggest ones.
2 to 3 of those?
Yeah.
And who landed on the aircraft carrier? Because I've never seen this movie. I'm just here for the ride, very much.
King Kong jumped from ship and landed on an aircraft carrier.
Sorry, nah, no.
And there was a moment when they were both fighting on one.
Yeah, they were both fighting
Get
on
out.
a giant aircraft
No.
carrier.
Oh.
Like those ships are done. Like I saw that.
I'm not saying it's
laughing.
going to sink from the weight, but it's going to buckle and break from the weight.
Oh yeah, that thing would implode. I figured that fucker. Like when I saw that, I just instantly started laughing. Like I know it's Godzilla versus King Kong, so it's kind of like delay your disbelief a little bit. But goddamn, when I saw that, I was thinking to myself, oh my god. How many that ship would have buckled under the pressure so fast? Also, another question.
King Kong. Did Godzilla use his breath during that fight?
A couple times, yeah, even underwater, which is actually
that ship. That is an immediate Delta class fire because that's plasma. Delta class fires are a. I forget what they call. I think they call it. It will cause a mass conflagration, which means you have multiple classes of fire going on, and now you have your ship melting. I'm not saying you have to be hit by the beam. If you're close enough for a long enough period.
Yeah. It's
oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. It's overkill. And just like when I saw that, I was like, I kept saying to myself, like, okay, Godzilla's done some interesting things. Like, for those that don't know, Godzilla has performed Muhammad Ali boxing stances, and has also done this, and this is actually kind of funny. Godzilla's used his breath weapon to shoot himself. He tucks his tail in and catches it around him like this, tucks himself in and shoots his breath weapon and flies that way. So Godzilla's done some interesting stuff, but what I saw with this King Kong and Godzilla just made me laugh. The other thing that made me the fuck laugh, one, okay, how did a guy create a Mechagodzilla without no motherfucker knowing? Like, that in itself was stupid. I saw that and just went, disbelieve illusion, disbelieve illusion, disbelieve illusion. Keep thinking that.
I would have. So it would have been one thing if it was a organization, just in case Godzilla got out of hand.
It was an organization. It was an organization. It's called Apex. But here's my problem with Apex. Apex, one, stole 2 of Ghidorah's heads, fired the Ghidorah. He's using one to manipulate the other, and the one's in Mechagodzilla. 2, Mechagodzilla is the size of a fucking skyscraper again, and this company not only did all this tech in multiple countries, built all the parts. It also stole fucking all this shit and was building Mechagodzilla in Hong Kong, China.
Oh.
How the fuck does anyone build a Mechagodzilla in Hong Kong, China?
To be honest, hey, let's
I
be
would give an
honest.
answer, but
China is a communist country.
No, it's like I have an answer, but I don't want to get in trouble with Twitch.
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble with Twitch. I'm just saying, hypothetically, there's no way a company, even if this guy was giving a lot of money out, like I could see this guy bribing the hell out of every company. But like he had been bribing the fucking world. There's no way you're getting that entire like you're building something that size, that magnitude, missiles, um, shockwave weapons and all this other shit. Also, if this guy Apex had all this technology, why wasn't this being mass produced?
Well, I don't think you can make 100 Mecha Godzillas quite easily. I mean, you're building a
No, not
robot.
Mechagodzilla.
My question is, what's the
Technology
material?
in general. This technology in general. This motherfucker had a fucking giant hole from Hong Kong, from California to Hong Kong. This guy built a underground superconductor through how many countries to get to Hong Kong from Florida?
He said from California. And you're also going through the Ring of Fire, where a lot of tectonic plate movement is found. Also,
exactly,
the vent.
exactly. Like, I know this is one of my other problems. I poked a big hole on it for that, and my biggest argument with this, the whole Earth thing is okay. Yeah, I've heard it. It could be feasible. A lot of this tech that this fucker had should have been like the world should have been a different place. Like they should have had it more like the fucking the Godzilla fucking Nintendo game for fucking sakes. We should have been hearing. Should have fucking been hearing that because, god damn it, there's no way this guy had this. Now, I would have liked it if he was an alien because at least that would have made sense. They were secretly putting alien tech on our planet. They were mass producing. Nothing to see here. They do it in somewhere like Africa, which would make more sense. Or maybe they do it in Like I would have liked it if it would have went back to Hong Kong or Japan, because that would have been a lot more fun if they actually fought in that area.
Well,
but
everything you're talking about
like,
is one of my gripes with the movie. I mean, I get it needs to be science fiction. There needs to be some science fiction elements, but I think it kind of went too far with it. It felt futuristic at times, and it's supposed to be set in the modern day. And I get it, governments or organizations or secret organizations have technology that's not available to the public, like super duper technology. But I think they cross into science fiction territory, and I think they could have done without that. I think I may have lost you. Oh, no.
Is he in the background?
Did I lose you guys again?
Yeah.
Hello? Oh, wait, no. Hello?
We are back.
Okay, for a second, I got cut out again. I'm sorry. No, I'm wondering what the fuck with that. It's so, like, that's the thing. They're the Stranger Things girl. As much as it's cool watching her grow up, because we are actually seeing her now in her, like, teen. We're starting to see her, like, she actually is getting older, and we're getting to watch her from, like, what was she, 11 when she first started her career? Now we're seeing her as, like, a young adult. I think that's kind of cool. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Drew Barrymore and what she was doing back in the day. Which I won't get too much into the Drew Barrymore story. She is actually a decent actress. For her young age, I think she could be cool later on. I think she might be really good in the future.
I just don't think we see another justice because she didn't. She didn't do anything.
I don't either. No, she didn't. She spent the entire movie running around doing nothing.
Yeah.
I think she could have been better employed.
I think they just brought it in just to keep some kind of continuity with the last movie because she and her dad were major characters in the first.
Yeah.
In the second movie, Godzilla versus what's it called? Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's my biggest problem. The same thing with the Mechagodzilla. I could see them biomaking a weapon because that maybe made a little more sense in my mind, but for them to create what they did was insane. Although this being said, we're harping on the movie a little bit. The fight sequences, although again, remove that suspension of disbelief. Holy fuck, the fight sequences were awesome. And there were some throwbacks to shit too. There was a throwback to the tree thing because that was in one of the original Godzilla where Godzilla fought King Kong. King Kong rammed the fucking tree down Godzilla's throat. Yeah.
Now, this is another. I don't know how to feel about this one. I mean, I'm conflicted about it. I mean, part of me is trying to validate it, but do you feel like some of the fight scenes were in slow motion, or is it because they're so big, the waters when he's wet, like when he comes out of the water, it appears to fall from him more slowly because he's much higher. That's what's.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going with. I thought it was beautiful. I thought a lot of the CG in this was phenomenal. Like, I think it's up there with Lord of the Rings. That's my only saving grace for Lord of the Rings. Is I think it has some of the most. It still holds up today. But I mean, this was beautiful. This was just. It had beauty in the movie, and there's some cool monsters too, like those weird snake things that damn near almost killed Godzilla. That was kind of neat. The fucking the weird spaceships were kind of neat. I thought the villains were pathetic. Like the bad guys really didn't even need to be in the movie. Like you could have fundamentally cut them out of the entire movie and put some other monster. Like this is what bugs me. If they would have put another monster in the movie, something from back in the day, like Destroya, or Space Godzilla, or something crazy like that.
You know something? Now that you mentioned it, they didn't even need to be bad guys per se. It could have been an overly protective organization that's like government funded, and they could have been like, oh yeah, in the last battle Godzilla nearly got killed, and if he's gone, no one's gonna protect us, so we need to build our own monster. That could have.
Yeah, why not have Monarch? See, this is the thing. It could have made more sense if it was Monarch. It made more sense if it was like government. Honestly, I keep saying it. It would have made more sense if it was aliens. I'm sorry, Godzilla's trope of aliens being the bad guys should keep being used.
I think they're trying to balance between the campy legacy that the series has had with.
See, I disagree with you there.
I'm just.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying what. Yeah. I'm just assuming what was going through the minds of the writers and directors. They're trying to balance old camp with modern quote unquote realism.
Well, okay, Godzilla was not always campy. There were moments when it was campy. There was moments when it was a fucking drug trip. Like nothing like watching a bunch of guys wearing fish heads dancing in the 60s. Godzilla, what do you expect? The directors, originally the directors were drinking alcohol in the original Godzilla, because their life sucked. And later on they took acid, and that's when we got that Godzilla versus the smog monster. And then they smoked weed, so that's when we got Destroy Monsters with the fucking weird talking thing. Then we got the weirder shit where the cockroaches and Godzilla talking to that one monster. I can't remember his name, where he's like, "My God, why you do this? Go there, find out." And like that. There's some weird. Godzilla has some weird ass shit in it. Like the movies have been around for a long time, and there are times when they're really dark. Like Godzilla ends up dying in one. He actually dies in one movie. In Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, to kill Space Godzilla, he kills himself. And then Micro Godzilla ends up being the big bad. He ends up turning himself into Godzilla in the end.
But you also have to keep in mind that as you watch this, I mean, how do you feel as a fan of the franchise knowing that you have to adjust your expectations and accept the fact that this is an American Godzilla? It's not going to conform to some of the Japanese.
Considering the boringness of Shin Godzilla, I'm yes and no to it. The boringness of Shin Godzilla I've never been a fan of the Shin Godzilla series, so for me, I did not like Shin Godzilla. I know a lot. I know that's blasphemy in Godzilla fans. I'm like, but it was very boring. Very, very boring. But it's just as Godzilla can either be good or bad. It happens.
Yes, it has
It
happened.
really does happen. It just sometimes Godzilla's good, sometimes Godzilla's bad. I would say Godzilla versus King Kong was a good movie. Was it the best Godzilla movie? I honestly don't believe so.
Is it worth the
I
praise it's
think there
getting?
yes and no. Is it literally the only thing right now that people want to watch? Yeah. Is it worth the $25 to rent? Fuck no. Don't spend the $25, boys and girls. Don't spend the $25. Wait, it's not worth it. I think it had its moments, but Jesus fuck, it wasn't as good.
No, to me, I see it more as a good movie with some peculiar moments.
I think it was a good action movie. Actually, I think you know what this movie should have came out on was in the summer. This is probably a great summer movie. And we're not gonna have a good like I think this movie was came out at a perfect time. It had not really what does it have to compete with? I can't think of a single movie actually coming out right now. Like if people are starved for something, this is the movie to watch. So yeah, they blew it out. I think if this came out next to a couple other action blockbusters, I think it would have a bigger fight. I think it would be way lower on the list. I think it's going to blow up. Like it has an 80% on Rotten. I don't know what the fan thing is, but it has an 80% right now. The last I checked, anyway. So
Let me find out.
yeah, go for it, man.
Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Bob, have we swayed your mind? Are you going to watch Godzilla versus King Kong? While Shawnee Gun's looking this up.
No, no, I will not.
No.
Do we make it sound worse or better than what you initially wanted?
I already thought it was just going to be a bust for the hype, because let's be honest, most movies nowadays are just hype trains.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's
Most
really
movies
hard
nowadays
to
are
find
shit.
a movie like you will find that diamond in the rough, but everything's based on hype now, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just nah,
Yeah.
not my thing.
So yeah, as of this video, April 2nd, um, Godzilla vs Kong is has a 79% on the tomato meter and a 95% audience score.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There's nothing out right now. Like, can we not lie? Can we be honest? If there was actually something to stand up against this, like this is an undefeated beast, man. Like, I think as time goes on, it's gonna kind of be peter out. But right now, holy fuck, this beast is free. This is a free forming monster. Like pun intended. Kaiju wandering around the Atlantic Ocean by itself. Nothing's gonna fuck with it.
Also, to add
You know.
on IMDb, it's got 7 out of 10 of
Yeah,
almost
it's not a bad
37,000
movie.
37,000
No,
ratings.
it isn't a bad action. It's a good action flick. It's a good movie. Well, that's debatable. Like I would say there are better movies that have existed that are good action movies, also good personal movies. RoboCop comes to mind, Dark City comes to mind. Well, I don't know if you call Dark City an action movie. Darkman comes to mind. There are other movies, wink, wink, wink. We're going to be doing that in the future. Um,
Darkman.
yeah. Oh yeah, I got to get you to watch that.
I don't. I got it already.
No, yeah, you're taking the fucking elephant. Take the fucking elephant. That's all you need to know. Um, it's I'm interesting to see how they do it. I'm interested to see what they do, how they're going to do it, how they're going to play this. But how far can they take? Like, are we going to get another Godzilla movie? I hope we do. I think, okay, this is what I think. They actually got a hit here. Like, I think doing other Godzilla movies and having other monsters would be cool. I think it could play out better. Like Godzilla versus Destroyer would be fun. Godzilla versus Gigan. Godzilla versus fucking. Oh, you could have. Here's one you could have. Why not bring back King Caesar? Like I want King Caesar back. I want some woman singing at a mountain for fucking 3 minutes, singing about Kool-Aid because I have no idea what the fuck she was singing. I've had friends of mine who are Japanese and they don't. I don't know if it was the mixing, but they kind of stop and look. Like I have a friend of mine who's freaking Japanese, knows Japanese. We're talking, we're watching the movie, and we're having a conversation. Every once in a while, he just kind of turns and looks, and because she's listening to her sing, and he stops and goes, "What the fuck did she just? Can you rewind that?" Oh, okay.
Oh god.
Yeah. So King Caesar, I would love to have King Caesar back. I would love to have. There's so many monsters out there they could bring back. I could have they could have that Godzilla has to go down to Hollow Earth, or that something's trying to burrow into Hollow Earth and he ends up fighting King Kong. And there's so much we can do with this. Like there's so far they can go with it. I will say this: they are right. There was a definite winner. One did fall. King Kong got his ass kicked by far.
Oh, we are joined by King Style 96.
Hi, King Style. We're in the middle of doing Godzilla versus King Kong. Have you seen it yet?
No, I have not, so I can't say anything about it.
Oh, we are spoiling it for this review, so...
We are spoiling the fuck out of it, so if you don't want to spoil it, you might want to go.
Alrighties.
Or are you indifferent?
I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't really know if I'm indifferent or not.
Okay, then we'll talk to you later, good sir. You have yourself a very good night, man.
You too.
All right, bye.
Have a good night.
See ya.
So yeah.
And King Style gone. So yeah. We're looking at. I think it's a good movie. I think it's worth the time. Do I think it's worth $25? No, that's bullshit. I fucking, that's sacrilege. I feel like I got ripped off.
I think this would have been a less flawed movie if they were to cut some things out, because I think there's a damn good movie within the entire thing. Like a better movie is inside the time, the running time.
Yeah, you could, like I said, you cut out the Stranger Thing girl. You cut out, like, maybe have a couple flashes of the bad guys being bad. You cut out the fucking daughter. The daughter had no point. She goddamn, like, literally showed up, acted like a bitch, and got owned. There was, like, no reason for her to be there in that movie. She was wiped out so fast, it was laughable. It was actually, like, I giggled.
So,
well, you were a pointless character.
So another thing I found odd, and they didn't explain this, and they probably will in a future movie, I don't know, but how were they able to go to Skull Island and build this entire
Oh fuck! How did they build that giant fucking crater in the fucking Antarctic? Like fuck Skull Island. How do you build a facility in the Antarctic in the fucking freezing cold that's so huge and a giant fucking circular passage that could fit fucking Godzilla? That would take decades of building.
I think these tunnels already existed. They just put a path to it.
They put a path that's the size of a fucking skyscraper.
Well,
Do you understand the level of complexity to build what they built?
I'm just saying it's probably not as it wasn't as much. There wasn't as much plan to it as you might think. I mean, they just needed a building and a big hole in the ground.
No, there was a building, a big hole, a giant fucking rotating fucking mechanical device that opened up a giant fucking door.
Well, yeah, I forgot about that. But I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how do they build that enclosure in Skull Island to put King Kong in
Again,
with it when you've got those you've got that storm that surrounds the island, which is eternal, which as if I
mhm.
remember correctly from Skull Island, and also with all these monsters that inhabit the island, it's like whoa, how could they have done that safely? Like
Yeah,
I
I
know time has
know.
passed since the '70s, which is when Skull Island took place, and now, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like it warrants an explanation.
It really does. Well, all of it warrants a fucking explanation, can't you? Like, God fucking
Yeah,
damn it. The
like
majority of it warrants.
Kong 2, they have to make King Kong 2 to explain all this.
Like, they make an enclosure for Godzilla. They make an enclosure for King Kong. Why the fuck does King Kong even need an enclosure? He's on a fucking island that Godzilla's never goes to. Like, Godzilla has never come close to that island. There's no reason for them to be there. Like, I get. See, that's the thing about the Pacific Rim movies. At least they explain that shit.
Oh,
At
but
least we
Pacific Rim
get
has
that.
problems of its own, and I okay,
Mhm.
maybe not from a plot standpoint, but I have huge gripes with
No, I
Pacific Rim.
agree. I agree with you. I do agree with you, but Jesus fuck, what the hell? It was just a level of stupid half the time. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? It's like those weird Grubhub commercials that I keep seeing that are just weird as fuck. That just dated the film.
So,
um,
so what else is there to discuss about this movie?
it's a good, even though we're shitting on it a little bit, it's a good movie. It really does have, it has a lot of problems. As an action movie, it's a great action movie. Oh, it's good. But as a movie as a whole, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like this could have been better. But I had high expectations. Like this movie had to have been fucking gold to get my love. But it got my love, but I have a love hate with it because there's so much shit that I feel like they kind of left out. There's so much shit they could have done. There's so much shit they could have added.
Well,
Fuck.
there might
Like, I
be.
don't know if you guys feel the same way I do. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like this movie was missing something.
I feel like it's had too many things and could have done without some. I don't think it was missing anything. I think all the pieces are there. They just added extra fluff. But it might interest you to know, and this might explain why at times this movie was a bit odd, is the director of it is the same guy who did the Netflix Death Note series, which everyone agrees is crap.
Well, you know what? I will admit this wasn't awful.
Yeah,
This
so
wasn't great. This wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. I no, the Death Note movie is up there with, like,
wait, was it a movie or a
God,
series? The Netflix
the
Death
the
Note.
Death Note movie. There was a movie.
Oh, okay.
It's up there with, yeah. It's bad. Oh, is it fucking bad? It is. It is. God damn, is it fucking bad? Like, God damn, is that bad?
It's insultingly
I
bad.
you haven't seen it yet, have you, or have you watched it?
Oh no, I've seen clips. The casting is terrible. The it's just and the Light's portrayal in some of the clips I've watched. No, that is not Light Yagami. It's
Okay.
it had this annoying, you know, teen teen movie vibe to it, like American teen movie vibe, which is not
You
for
talking
Death
about the
Note.
Netflix one?
Yes.
We're talking about the, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, we're
oh,
going
not to
we're
mention
going
when L just showed himself.
Oh,
Yeah. We're gonna get into. I'm gonna discuss this a future thing after we're done this a little bit. I think that he did a good movie. Is it a great movie? No. Is it a movie that could last? Fuck no. I think this movie would have I think this movie would eventually fucking flop. I think that in time, as time goes on, it's going to be considered a great movie. But again, at the same time, the diehard fans are going to be like, eh. If this had other competition, if this had valid competition, this movie would get knocked right into the stratosphere.
part of me is willing to is willing to believe that this is a potentially good movie or a potentially better
Mhm.
movie with a mediocre at best director handling it.
Mm,
I will say he did a
yeah.
good job with action scenes. I will give him credit for that.
Oh no, that's what makes this movie. The action scenes are fucking phenomenal.
Yes, I agree. No shaky cam,
Like
no debris, no
no
stuff
shaky
in the
hand,
way.
no.
They could have easily gotten Michael Bay to make this movie.
That's scary, but yeah, I think Michael Bay would have well, I don't know. Michael Bay wanted to make Ninja Turtles Aliens, so I won't say anything. Also another thing that was kind of fun. Like there are a couple times when Godzilla movies had some good scenes, like the new Legacy ones, where they had fucking what's his face, like that skydive scene in the original Godzilla was fucking cool. I
Yeah.
also felt like this movie was like I had moments where I kept thinking to myself, "Wow, this would make a good Universal ride." Does that make any sense? Like
Yeah.
I felt that a couple times. Yeah, I felt that a couple times. This made it would made a good Universal ride. Um, it's cool. It also puts Godzilla in the way. Like Godzilla is the last monster standing. Like King Kong's such a pussy. He went hidden back in Hollow Earth. So King Kong's hiding in Hollow Earth. Hong Kong is fucked permanently because of this fight.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm
Any city
oh I'm
is fucked
no
permanently.
no. King Kong is purpose like Hong Kong is done. Anyone realizes this, but a giant hole that's burrowed so deep into the fucking earth, they get monsoon season. They get storms. That is gonna fuck with everything.
Oh, that
That
reminds me.
that
I
like
need an explanation for one thing. Remember when they
no
went to the underworld? Yeah,
Hollow Earth.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, what is the source of light? I mean, something that looked like the sun. What is that? Is that the core, the Earth's core? Like, what was that? Like, what is that
I
light?
have no I have no idea. I'm assuming it's the sun. I'm assuming it's the fucking molten lava.
Okay, like at least explain those things. But again, like I said,
Actually,
technology in
actually,
this
that
thing.
could, in theory, that's the Hollow Earth theory. In theory, that could be because their explanation for Hollow Earth is that the rolling magma that's in there that spin because of how it spins and how it's rotating because of the gravity flux. What happens is that it acts as an artificial sun.
Ah, but it
Yeah,
creates UV light, which you know what? I'm not gonna say
doesn't
anymore.
make.
I
I
am not.
dude. I just
I'm not a
yeah. I'm
scientist.
not
I
gonna say much.
don't. I,
Yeah, yeah. Look, to quote Xena, if you see something weird like that, a wizard did it. There
The
you go, a
Simpsons.
wizard did it.
Ah, yeah, sorry. But episode BF12 Wizard. Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, the wizard. Yes. Um, fuck. That is kind of interesting. No, but that giant hole, like Godzilla burned a hole that was so fucking big that King Kong could comfortably crawl out of it. That, in its own right, is what the fuck. King Kong having his heart started. That is holy fuck.
Yeah. This is another thing. This movie has the typical beats slash tropes of modern blockbusters. Like there's always that dilemma in the final act that they've just got to fix at the last second. It's like, come on, guys, we don't need
Yeah.
that. Just
Yeah.
Just get to the point. We don't need
Yeah.
all these stalling things just to pad out the runtime. This movie would have been fine.
Yeah. Right.
You could make a good movie in 90 minutes. Like a good
Yeah.
movie could be made with a 90-minute running time. It doesn't need to be 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. This could have been an hour. I say this movie would have been better if it was an hour 30.
Even an hour 20.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think under an hour you could finish this movie if you cut out what's her face Stranger Things girl's story. You add a little bit about this. You cut out the what's it called, the daughter, which was a stupid idea. You cut out the big bad. You cut out the big bad guy. You cut out the Asian guy getting having an orgasm and King Goras. Dude, it looked like he was having an orgasm. It looked like someone was giving him a. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to get in trouble. But you cut out all this shit and just have this guy build this or have this group build this because they want to kill Godzilla off and finally end the monster wars and we're gonna be the alpha males and just made a couple fucking speeches. There you go. I think this movie could have been a lot less and it would have been better. I think it was a great action movie, and I think watching King Kong and Godzilla fight, like you really didn't need any reason for. Actually, that could have been the whole reason Godzilla wanted to pick a fight with King Kong. Okay, hypothetically, the government's fucking with that genetic energy source from the Earth, and King Kong feels it and gets pissed off and starts attacking. And they secretly they can do a little bit of everything else. But they secretly bring Mecha Godzilla in there. You could do that, and there you go. And then have King Kong and Godzilla fighting over that one little bit. Or you could have had some monster in Hollow Earth come crawling out of the fucking Earth and attack both of them. And this is why he's pissed off, because this is why King Kong Godzilla keeps attacking, is humanity's using an energy source that's brand new, that's from Hollow Earth.
Well,
And then you have...
I mean,
yeah, it could.
Like I said, just cut out the Stranger Things girl, and I think that was the biggest
But she's a
sidetrack.
good actress. I'm not trying to be an asshole to that character. She's a great actress. I really enjoyed her for the few times because there were moments where she did without a fucking thing. It's like tap or bottle. She went, oh, tap.
Yeah, I think
bottle.
The podcast guy was only there just to crack jokes, just to be the comic relief.
Oh yeah, he was a comic relief, but you really didn't need a comic relief. You already had a comic relief with the little girl fucking signing Buddy's a coward.
And the third character, the boy who was tagging along, like, okay, he's just there.
Oh, he had no reason to be there either. Like that entire area, everyone's gonna say the same thing. You could have cut out that entire scene, it would have been fine. So that's my only big gripe about it. If you would have cut out a lot of that, it would have been great. It would have been perfect. This movie is good. It just needed a little trim.
Exactly. A little trim.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so that's my thoughts
but
on it.
Dragon, but Dark, you can't make a movie you can't have a movie be 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's too short. Our attention span, we don't have that tolerance level. Says the modern audience.
Say that to kids. Yeah, says the modern audience that watches that grew up on Peppa Pig. Yeah, I highly doubt you have an attention span longer than that.
Yeah, it needs excessive action, which I'll admit that when the action scene did happen, it wasn't okay. It was only the third act that was a little padded out, but the rest of them were fine. I mean, again, you had that dilemma where
King Kong was a
yeah, that dilemma where King Kong needed to his heart jump started, basically.
Yeah. King Kong is a super pussy in this movie. Like humans say King Kong way too many times.
I mean, I think it's easier to make King Kong a little more emotional and full of expression because he's a monkey, not a lizard.
Yeah, he was actually expressional. He actually had emotions. He's actually quite good. He was good. I think he was really good. I don't know. Everything about the Hollow Earth thing was a little annoying, but yeah, I got where they're coming from, and that was kind of a cool idea. It just, it's like I said before, it's a good movie that could have been great.
Yeah.
That,
Again,
like I said,
trim the
that's my
fat off.
final thought. Yeah, trim the fat off, and you have the perfect movie.
So what do you think,
So,
Bob?
what do you think, Bob? Do you want to watch this movie now? Did Bob fall asleep on us?
We should.
No, I don't fall asleep on you. I'm doing this on my phone, so I have
Oh,
to
okay.
pause what I'm doing, then unlock my phone, then unmute myself.
Oh, okay. So, what do you think, Bob?
So it takes me a good bit. Honestly, this movie, meh.
Nah.
I'm not really looking forward to it. I'll be honest.
Well,
Then again,
yeah, I
it's
get it.
been a long time since I've looked forward to any movie.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of,
I don't know.
well,
Everything doesn't seem original anymore. It's dry. I feel like everything's dying. It's almost like the painted world from Dark Souls. Everything is
yeah,
rotting, but no one's willing to accept it.
Would you say that
I
the
guess I can.
majority of movies today, well, action movies in particular, have been have lost some quality because technology kind of gets in the way? I mean, think about it.
Yes and no.
Back in the day, a character would have to. Let's take Commando for example. The guy would have to put effort to get to a phone to call the bad guys to tell him John Matrix is after them. Now everyone's got a cell phone; they can just do it on the spot, and you can't really make talking on the phone or looking at a computer using Skype, WhatsApp
No,
very
you
cinematic.
can still do it. You can still do it. You
But
could Deus Ex Machina
you
out of
can't
the
make it look
phone. You
exciting.
could do a lot.
You can't make it look
Yeah,
exciting
you
as
could.
trying to get to a phone because everyone's already got them.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. You could have it that the signal's getting cut off for some reason, and someone's running to go get a phone from a normal place, or
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's
I'm about to
lots
say,
of ways
hell,
to
look
do
at
it.
all the modern shooters. Well, past modern shooters, not the new modern shooters. In the past shooters, um, there could be a jamming device that is messing with your phones, and the only way to
Yeah.
communicate is through the enemy's communication systems.
well,
So you have to fight your way into them or sneak your way into them.
yeah, but
And it's
Yeah.
that,
how often does that happen in real life? I mean, if it's gonna get gimmicky if you're gonna have that explanation for every single movie.
Well,
oh
you don't need
man.
to do it every single movie. It's just that's one way.
Uh,
I think
Here,
personally,
I'll throw you a situation. Have you ever been out in the ocean?
Okay, your phone gets wet. That could be one thing. Battery
No,
dies.
no, no, not that. There is no signal out in the
Yeah,
ocean.
there's that too.
There are no satellites.
yeah,
The only way you
yeah,
can communicate is through ship comms. And even then, that's for like emergencies only.
yeah.
Or if the CO needs to talk to whoever his commander is.
So that's what we got, dude. It's like I said. There's lots you can do. I'm saying that this movie had moments of awesome, but this movie, like I said, my final thoughts are simple. Like, there's not much else to say, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's good, but it's not great. That's how I look at it. I think a lot of people are like so hungry for a fucking movie, and the fact that movie theaters in some places are opening up due to something going on in the world, we won't discuss because I can get us heated.
Nurgle's blessing.
Yeah, Nurgle's busting. We'll go with that. Uh, it's just fucking. That's the problem. This movie came out at the right time, man. I think this movie would have never gotten as good as a review. And this is a Godzilla fan saying this. This is a guy who, I am a fan of Godzilla. I love Godzilla. And even I'm saying, no, this would have been eaten alive if other movies were if another good movie was around. This would have been eaten alive.
I guess.
But I enjoyed them. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
Would you watch it again
You know
if
what?
if you had it like on DVD or something,
If it was
or if it was
free, yes.
yeah, or if it was on TV, would you stop to watch it?
Yeah. If it was free, yeah, I probably would. I probably would watch it. But again, I'm a fan. Like here's how I hear a lot of critics say. This is critic speech. I'm starting to learn critic speech from talking to people who are critics. Critic speech would say something along this lines. This movie's definitely made for fans, but you'll like it too. You know what that means in nerd speech? Yeah, this movie would generally not survive. Like I just came back from watching watching a movie that doesn't suck balls. It was actually very fascinating called Glass. Maybe we'll do a review of it later. And that movie was phenomenal. That movie just blew my mind. I enjoyed that movie thoroughly. And it's a Shyamalan movie, which shocked the fuck out of me. So I watched Godzilla, then I watched Glass. I'm like, well, if this came out when Glass came out, I think this would be a different beast. I think this would have. I think Glass would have blown this out of the fucking water. I think there's two other movies I watched recently too that I'm like, oh yeah, this would have definitely wiped them out. Like if Baby Driver, as much as Baby Driver doesn't get any fame, like Baby Driver, god damn, this would be dead. Poor Godzilla wouldn't survive. We'd be like, Godzilla and Kong would not survive that fight. But it coming out with nothing. Really, I can't think of a single movie right now I want to see.
Oh, neither can I. Well, except maybe sometime. I think in the summer it's gonna come out. Top Gun 2 is probably the only other movie I'm gonna watch this year. Of all the movies
I don't
know.
even want to watch that. Yeah, I don't even want to watch that. So that tells you something. I got nothing till next year. I think the next two movies I want to see are next year. So I did not find. Yeah, I'm pretty much that's it. So for me, it's like, yeah, this was my one and only movie. So yeah, I honestly I don't think I would have watched this if I came in with a little bit of foreknowledge on it. I think I would have waited to watch it till later. Which definitely that sounds bad whenever you hear that thought. I would have liked it, but I would have waited. It would have been like what I did with Shin Godzilla. I waited forever to watch Shin Godzilla. I could have watched it. I could have spent the money and watched it right away, but I'm like, fuck that shit. So that's how I feel about this Godzilla movie. Let's see what the Japanese do, because Japanese have been talking about doing another Godzilla movie.
Well, it's about
Toho
time.
is actually
Because they've only been doing animated Godzillas in the last few years.
They did two animated, and then they're going to do They did Shin Godzilla, which was the animated based off Shin Godzilla, and then they're going to do. They're apparently going to do a brand new one, like rubber suit and all. Apparently, it's going to be something fascinating from what I'm hearing. So we'll see if we get this other movie. Like it's way in the future from what I've been hearing. So we'll see. I'm also hearing of another Ultraman movie, which is apparently out there.
So are you not interested in the new Space Jam either?
No, I do not need to jam to walk into the plan. I hate that crap. That stupid movie Space Jam.
That last part didn't rhyme, but okay. Anyway, I think that we've said everything we had to say. You know.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think there's anything else. I think we've effectively ruined the movie for anybody who now watches this.
All I can say is I'd still recommend watching it. There's a good movie.
Oh, same here.
There's a better movie inside a decent movie.
It's a good. Yeah, he is right. It's a good movie inside a. Unfortunately, it's a good movie inside a what could have been a great movie.
Or phrase that way too. So. Anyone else? Any last words? Anyone? Bob? Dragon?
Well, yeah. But I got one last thing to say.
Okay.
Because we're talking. Because this is going to go on my YouTube page, Orc War Chief Reviews. We're also going to be doing. We're finishing up the X-Men in the next couple days, hopefully. And then the last thing we're going to be doing is X-Men Evolution. Then we start Punisher.
Oh, don't forget.
Sorry, not Punisher. No, Predator. Sorry. Go ahead.
Bob, anything else?
I was going to talk about the one trope that I hate most in action movies.
Oh, you know what?
Okay,
you can do that.
Well, we'll talk about the other stuff because I got something else we're going to be doing. But anyway, go ahead.
So the one trope, I'll end with this, that I despise in action movies and is the stupidest thing. It's just something no one would ever do in real life. Is when the hero has the big bad in his sights. And they're on like some sort of helipad, and then the hero just throws his gun away for a fist fight. Why? Arrest the guy if you need to. You have the gun. I'm sure you have at least some sort of cuffs.
Blame John Claude Van Damme for that.
Yeah, but it's
But he
such
made
a
it
stupid
cool.
trope. It makes no sense. It doesn't even look good.
Exactly.
It looks dumb.
Again,
From
blame
every
John
standpoint.
Claude Van Damme. Blame
From a
John Claude
military,
Van Damme.
from a police, and from a civilian standpoint, it looks dumb.
And from a John Claude Van Damme for that one. That was his constant trope.
Either way, that's what I'm gonna end with.
Okay.
And as for me, today is April 2nd. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
Michael Jackson month. Right here on Twitch.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll be reviewing a lot of Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. The king.
The king.
All right.
And I still gotta get you a copy of a certain game that I know you want to play.
Okie dokie. Have a good night,
All right.
y'all.
Yeah, see ya.